I've coached hundreds of guys through push-ups and I see the same 3 mistakes over and over and over again. If your chest isn't growing or your shoulders are screaming after just a few sets of push-ups, let's fix that right now. Mistake number one that we need to fix is a lot of people in their push-ups and their setup are Ricky Bobby with their hands. They don't know what to do with their hands. And what I mean by that is their hands are super closed, they're super tight, they're way high, their elbows are flaring all over the place, and they're just feeling their shoulders. Not what we want. Again, we want to grow the chest, we want some strength in this pushing movement here. In order to fix that, I just bring them up on their knees exactly like I am right here, and we're just going to practice the setup. So I have them start with their thumb right at their low chest, and just bring your hands out to here. Like, this is perfect position. I have them spread their fingers apart. Now, that might not sound like it makes that much of a difference, but you being here versus here allows you a lot more explosiveness at the bottom of the push-up, which is exactly what I want. And then I have them from here just straighten their arms like this. And I say, hey, we want to see this nice straight line right here. I'm even okay if your hands are a little bit low, but I don't want you way up here because then your push-up looks like this. So again, we're going to get set here. Thumbs right at the low chest. Hands just kind of naturally go to where I want them. Your fingers are spread apart. And then you just bring the arms down and you are set right here for a perfect push-up. Again, spread those fingers out. Arms are straight and hands exactly where I want them. Now we're going to start feeling our chest much better and not just our shoulders. Mistake number two that we need to work on, and this really helps you create more tension throughout the chest and in your upper back, which we should be using in our push-ups. And that is, what are we doing on the way down in the push-up? Are we just dropping down and not focusing on anything? Or are we actually using our back and creating a lot of tension through the chest and the back, which is what I want? And I'm going to steal something from one of my favorite coaches, shout out Joe DeFranco. This is how he teaches a barbell bench press, and we can steal these cues for our push-up. So he teaches his members or whoever he's working with that's doing a barbell bench press that instead of just thinking about dropping the bar down, he says, I want you to pull the bar down and use your back muscles to really pull that bar in. And instead of just focusing on getting the bar back up, he says, I want you to kind of push yourself away from the bench. And we're going to steal those cues and use that in the push-up. And you could just practice with me right now. So just do this where you don't focus on anything in your back or your chest. And then right now, I want you to squeeze your back, right there, and then squeeze your chest and push yourself away. Now we're going to use that in our push-up here. So I'm going to go a little bit slow when I teach this to people. Squeeze, pull yourself down with your back, explode up. I'll just spread my fingers a little bit more. Pull yourself down with your back and explode up. And I can feel a major difference in how much tension is in my chest. And when we squeeze the back muscles on the way down, it's much better for our shoulders because we're less likely to do this internally rotated shoulder position. Not super good for the shoulders, can be super bad for the shoulders. Or a lot of people shrug, but if you really squeeze your back on the way down, that's going to take care of that. But again, you're going to feel your chest way better, which is exactly what I want. That's the fix. Again, practice that a little bit, go nice and slow. And after a while, it'll just become nice and reactive and you'll just do it without even thinking about it. All right, I want to go over a bonus tip here, but I have one more after this, but I do have to put some very strong emphasis on the fact that so many people don't try to progressively overload their push-ups. And if you don't know what progressive overload means, it means week after week, we're trying to add weight to the bar or use heavier dumbbells, or in terms of push-ups, we should be trying to do more reps. And this is where so many people screw up. So I don't care what type of workout you're doing. I don't care if it's just a couple sets of push-ups in a circuit. I don't care if they're a supplemental exercise in your chest day or your push day, but we need to be tracking how many push-ups we are doing. So next time you go do a set of push-ups, I want you to write down how many you did, or I want you to track it in an app, and then I want you to the next week to try to beat that. So many people fail to do this, and it's like, oh, like I'm not seeing any progress with my push-ups, my chest isn't growing. It's like, yeah, you aren't tracking anything, you're not progressively overloading this movement, and you're leaving a lot of gains on the table because of that. If you are really good at push-ups, another way you can do that is another way you can press progressively overload, is to add a weight vest. If you're working out with a partner, add a plate on your back. You could do ring push-ups. You can mess around with the tempo. You can mess around with pauses at the bottom, but you have to do something to make sure we're increasing the difficulty week after week. And that's how we gain strength. And that's how we gain some muscle with the push-up. So start tracking, making sure we're doing some sort of progressive overload using one of those strategies. All right, the last tip I have for you, and you can do this again with me, is I want to make sure you're in the right shoulder position to, again, make sure that we're not just feeling the shoulder joint and we're able to really get a good contraction in the chest. So do this with me here. This is not where I want you at. And this is where so many people do. Like if I just do this right here, I'm not saying it hurts, but it doesn't feel very smooth. If I just move my arms down like this, that just feels so much smoother, and that's where I want you to be doing your push-ups from. I have a really funky cue to help you with this, my Austin Powers fans will get this here in a second, but I want you to pretend that you have a laser beam shooting from your elbow, right? And as you come down, we get our perfect setup with our push-up, our hands are spread out, right? If you come down and the laser beam is shooting out to the side, you know you're super high, you're super flared out. Not saying that's gonna kill you, but doing reps over and over and over again with that position, you're asking for some shoulder injuries or some shoulder issues. So you wanna be tucked down and in, and you want those laser beams shooting behind you, and that's how you know you are in the perfect position there. And that, again, in the words of Joe DeFranco, is how we make push-ups great again. All right, make sure you nail the setup, use your back on the way down, really explode from the ground there, and make sure that you're creating this arrow position with your arms and not this T position. All right, I hope that was helpful. And if you are somebody who's working out at home with minimal equipment, maybe just have a set of dumbbells, check out this video here where I go over the dumbbell chest fly just done on the floor. You don't even need a bench. And I cover some common mistakes with that one. Again, trying to keep your shoulders healthy and helping you grow your chest. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.